All right, so now that they finally showed, what you're doing when you're playing this game, I had noticed a couple things. As they were describing the different types of missions between the campaign missions and the side missions and like taking over areas of the map, you notice it's a big map, and they were moving around the map to show each different thing, right? So this is clearly an open world game, which is what they finally been saying like this is more like our Far Cry. So if you're in a big open world map, you got sections of the map that are taken over by vampires. That these are like the side missions. You're liberating the town of Redfall. How are you going to have this whole map where you're liberating things and you have a save file? How are you going to make that save transfer between everybody? And that's why I think they've been saying that the host carries the story progression, because you're not going to save this map for everybody. Like, you have to go in, somebody's clearing out their map. You can probably join them in, do these missions to clear out the map, get your XP that can get you the unlocks for your skill tree and everything. You get some guns from the loot. That's what they were showing, that you get the rarity items. And that stuff is going to save with the person that you jumped in on. This makes a lot more sense for why. Because it's saving the status of the open world. That made a lot more sense to me. I don't know why they didn't say that from the beginning, why they've waited a year to say this is an open world game a la Far Cry, which they're saying now, which also has co-op where you just jump in and it's saving on the person. This makes sense to me.
Especially if the game isn't going to be linear in its story. Meaning, if it's truly open world and players can go do a mission on the other side of town and complete it in different times, right? Then it's going to be really hard.
You go in, if somebody's doing a story, you're probably not going to do the story like, hey, we need to get some levels. This story mission is too hard for me. Jump in here, we could do some side quests, get some experience, and then you can go do the story by yourself. So now in your world, that part is done. You can go to the next liberation thing. So it's finally starting to be more clear. I wish that were not the case, but seeing that it is an open world game, now it makes sense.
I agree with you, Don. I think that seeing this video kind of made it make a little more sense. How do you have 4 players and you all have different missions completed, not in the same order because you're all doing different missions, and all of a sudden you have that co-op game and you can't unlock everything, right? So it does make sense. I don't think it's going to, thinking about that now, like literally right now as you mentioned it, I don't think it's going to affect too much of the fun we have if the gameplay is fun. That is the key. If the gameplay is fun, I will not mind hopping onto your game and doing this, because ultimately I'm still gaining experience. More likely I'm still getting loot, I'm still getting good drops. So it makes sense if I can carry that experience, carry that loot into my own game anyway. But once again, if the game is fun, because one of the problems I have with Destiny, over hundreds of hours, let's be very clear, but one of the issues was the repetition, right? How many times can I do these same missions over and over without kind of getting tired of doing the same missions over and over? And this is not Destiny in terms of number of levels and number of campaign missions. It's a smaller game in scope. So I'm hoping if they're going to keep me in for the long haul, that it doesn't feel repetitive. It doesn't feel like, wow, I don't even want to do this. I hope I'm not overpowered, where we can just fly through these levels, because at that point the fun is going to be taken away from me. So that's somewhere where I'm being optimistic about.
If you liked our content, mash that like button, and if you're new to the channel and want to see more content, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.